My name is Eli Walker, and I live on the outer edge of the Oak Ridge Valley subdivision. My house, built by my great-grandfather in the 1940s, has always stood apart, literally and figuratively. While the rest of the neighborhood succumbed to cookie-cutter conformity and manicured lawns, my land kept its rustic charm, including one iconic feature, the windmill. Erected in 1953 by my grandfather to pump water and later retrofitted by my father to generate electricity, the windmill was not just a family heirloom. It was functional. It stood tall, 40 feet of galvanized steel, quietly spinning in the breeze and cutting my energy bills in half. Then the HOA came knocking. The letter was taped to my door. Notice of violation. Structure not in compliance with HOA guidelines. They cited Section 6.3 of the HOA covenant. No unsightly or non-conforming structures over 20 feet in height may be erected or maintained. Unsightly? This windmill had been there before the HOA was even formed. I called the office. I got Rachel, the assistant to the HOA president. She was chipper, condescending, and inflexible. "Mr. Walker, we understand your emotional attachment, but it's not in line with our aesthetic standards. You'll need to dismantle it within 30 days. My jaw clenched. "It's generating power. It's historical. It's on private property." She responded with a rehearsed line. "The rules apply to all residents." But I wasn't just any resident. I was a licensed energy consultant, and they had just picked the wrong fight. The windmill was more than metal and blades. It was a story. My grandfather, Thomas Walker, had installed it during a wind drought in the 50s. When the town lost water pressure for a week, his windmill-fed well became a lifeline. He was the kind of man who believed in independence, water, power, food, and thought. When he passed, I inherited the land and the legacy. In 2016, I spent $8,000 converting the windmill to a modern hybrid turbine. It now fed power directly into my home's battery system and on good days back into the grid. So no, I wasn't going to remove it. I dove into the HOA's Articles of Incorporation, local zoning laws, grandfather clauses, and renewable energy statutes. Here's what I found. The HOA covenant had a major flaw. No retroactive enforcement language. My windmill predated the HOA's formation by 22 years. State law explicitly protected renewable energy devices. So, I mailed the HOA my findings along with a copy of the county's renewable energy exemption certificate tied to my property. Their response? Silence. Until the fines started. They began charging me $500 per day for noncompliance. In just 2 weeks, my violation racked up $7,000 in fines. They threatened liens. They threatened court. They underestimated how prepared I was. I filed for arbitration, and while we waited for a court date, I got to work on something bigger. You see, I had been experimenting with microgrids. With the help of 2 retired engineers, friends of my late father, I designed a scalable solar-wind hybrid system. Over a month, we installed 4 solar panels on my garage roof, a battery bank in the basement, a backup wind generator behind my barn. I went from 70% off-grid to completely self-sustained. Then I started generating excess electricity, which legally, thanks to net metering laws, I could sell. Then fate handed me the perfect gift. In mid-July, the local grid experienced a transformer failure. A rolling blackout hit Oak Ridge Valley, except for one house, mine. My lights were on, my AC was humming, my fridge still cold, and soon my phone was blowing up. It started with 1 neighbor, then 3, then 12. "Do you have backup power? Can I charge my phone? My dad's on oxygen, can he come over?" I opened my home to everyone who asked. By nightfall, I had extension cords running to 6 houses. My garage looked like a server farm. And the HOA? They were radio silent, but I wasn't. 2 days later, I made an offer. If the HOA drops the fines and recognizes my windmill as a historical energy structure, I'll offer grid support during future outages at no charge. I'll even help others install renewable units. Brent, the HOA president, responded with a snide letter. "We will not reward noncompliance. Your actions are noted and may lead to disassociation from the HOA benefits program." So I drafted a new plan. One the HOA couldn't control. Using a legal mechanism called a private utility co-op, I began forming a neighborhood energy sharing group. By November, I had 15 homes on board. We pooled resources and installed micro wind turbines and solar units. All excess energy fed into a community battery bank stored on my property. We became energy independent, and more importantly, financially independent from the HOA's utility agreements. Finally, our arbitration day arrived. Their attorney tried the usual scare tactics, but I came prepared. Exhibit A, deed and grandfather clause. Exhibit B, state renewable energy protections. Exhibit C, emergency power relief logs with signatures from 26 neighbors. The arbiter's ruling? All fines rescinded. Windmill is a protected grandfathered structure under state law. HOA shall cease interference. Boom. After the decision, the HOA board came under fire. It turned out Brent had personal investments in the regional electric utility and saw my windmill as a threat to long-term contracts. 3 board members resigned. The HOA's new president, a retired teacher named Linda, publicly apologized. Then she asked for my help. Today, 43 homes in Oak Ridge Valley are partially or fully renewable. The co-op offers education programs. We teach kids how to wire solar cells, how batteries store energy, and how to think beyond power bills. And yes, my windmill still stands polished and proud with a bronze plaque. Walker Renewable Tower, Estate 1953. Sometimes I sit under it, listening to the breeze hum through the blades. My grandfather didn't believe in fighting over petty rules, but he believed in standing tall for what was right. And thanks to him and a few watts of wind, I turned the HOA's war into a renewable revolution. Subscribe to DD Stories, because sometimes the best revenge is clean, quiet, and spinning 40 feet in the air.